Black Spring with Autumn on your Saturday, October 1st. Welcome back if you are within the sound of this dark stream right now. I just want to go over a quick report with you. I'll get into it with you a little bit more detail, but it's starting to develop a topic that we've been talking about. We've been talking about we've talked about the cashless kingdom come, but we've also kind of been alluding to or inferring with the actual surveillance kingdom come. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be your big brother is draped in purple to the rescue. Okay, so I just want to let you know that we in the past I've done a couple of things in terms of I've handled the subjects in which you have an infrastructure bill that's going to have an intoxication detection included, as well as you have the progressive snapshot. Progressive snapshot's going to be have a similar measure. Not to mention that your lovely eye products. Notice that you have a lot of big eyes on everything. It's Indeed. It's got a big eye on it. Of course, you have the almighty ecosystem of the Apple, the iPhones. This is in the subject of the iPhone. For the iPhone 14 Pro is going to have crash detection. Okay, I want to get into that specifically. So if you are looking to upgrade your phone, your technology, it's going to be coming into your car. Okay. I'm saying this infrastructure bill, all these bills that they keep passing. I don't know, what is it? I called it the Inflammation Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and all this stuff that was handed down a few days ago. That there's a lot of stuff hidden in that. There's probably a lot of stuff hidden in that bill. Okay, not just tax breaks or alleged tax breaks for the corporations to continue to be like the henchmen. The henchmen, are going to be getting breaks, more henchmen breaks, for the lack of a better word, is what you're going to be what you're going to be dealing with. But I just want to just get into some specifics here. Now I have a video. I want to show this, but I'm away from a studio environment right now. However, I just want to say that Apple they're using the junkyards. They started out by using junkyards to test some of the technology, the advanced Apple Motion algorithms and hardware sensors that they're going to be using. Okay. Hello, Luciano and Melinda and TMK Media. How are you? So I'll be back in studio ASAP. I'm not sure tomorrow, but definitely probably looking at Monday. More like Monday for sure. But yes, so you're looking at, they're starting to roll out this whole surveillance kingdom come is rolling out too. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I think it's probably going to be more in lockstep with the SDGs, as the Sustainable Development Goals, or what's the other opposite? To me, they should just call it the safety development goals, because all the surveillance development goals are, to me, synonymous with the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay. You're going to have a government stamp on your butt. Okay. You're going to have on your behind, on your fanny, whatever part of the, generation you're from, your cheese or your whatever, your plant-based jerky, your turkey jerky or your plant-based jerky is going to have a government stamp on it. Okay. To be in step with the sustainability here. Sorry about that. Hope you guys are still here. Looks like I'm stuck. Okay, no, I'm back. Okay. So, yeah, so let me get into this just a second. Just have a look. They're featuring also your Apple iWatch will have some of these same capabilities, okay? So your iWatch is going to be able to call for help for you. Now, I'm not even getting into any kind of buggy situations, okay? I'm not even getting into that. Not even getting into the amount of bugs or kinks or what that may need to be worked out in a situation like this. However, let me get back to what I was talking about. So you've got Apple testing. They've got this professional driver testing out testing the technology out in this junkyard. Okay, so what's going to happen is the feature will be, it's quite subliminal. They're going, and it's draped in purple. Okay, the whole cord is draped in purple. All right, so I'll keep going here. So the what's happening here is what's going to happen is if you have a when a crash happens, is according to this, I'm paraphrasing. When a crash happens, apparently your iPhone or your iWatch is going to display an alert. And then what's going to happen is that the user, if you're alert, if you're able, you'll be able to swipe. Okay, if there's no response in 10 seconds, there will be another, they will give another 10-second count shutdown. Okay, and if there's no response by the third time, the alert, the shutdown, the signal comes back up for you again. If they still haven't responded after the crash has been detected by the iPhone or the iWatch, the device will call emergency services. Okay, so that's what they're looking at. So it's going to include, I think, some of these technologies, the hardware, the sensor is going to include the GPS, the CarPlay, and of course, it's going to be a part of the iPhone, iPhone Plus, iPhone Pro Max. So all of these phones, along with these iWatches, so I cannot imagine, these things are glitchy and buggy. How many people is EMS just going to be showing up? Okay, you see what I'm saying? Like, they are really going to be maxing out resources. First response resources could really be responding to, what if it's a domestic violence situation and it's not an EMS situation? Well, I guess in that case, it could be helpful if somebody's in distress. If there's a domestic situation in which there's not a crash, it's just somebody, unfortunately, somebody being pounded on or something horrible like that, some type of physical or domestic abuse situation. So, yeah. So but your device has to be supported by, it has to be Apple supported in order for this EMS to come out. So you basically get three chances to show your consciousness. I think you're going to have to be at a level of consciousness to, the second time that you do, you'll get the 10 seconds before it shuts down. And then the third, if the user still hasn't responded by the third, I guess, alert or sound, then that's when the device will call the emergency services. Okay. So that's what you're looking at. I tell you, this is a very remarkable time to be alive. Okay. And I'm telling you, all this is prototype time, because I think they are trying to make sure that they have the technology by 2030. Okay. They're trying to make sure they have the technology available. So in many cases, they're saying that they don't have, even in that infrastructure bill, that everything's not quite tuned up. It's not keyed up and quite tuned up for it to delay, to be accurate. But they're going to be using everything. Also, I know there were some discrepancies in there about the accuracy, about, how will these devices be able to tell if the vehicle was actually moving? Like, the margin of error, I guess, or trying to make sure that they're not coming out, that they're not responding to things that are actually not crashes. Well, the only way I can see them being able to narrow that down would to be more invasive. Like, to me, this is not just going to be a crash detective kind of sensor or a crash detective kind of surveillance. This is going to go, to me, I just imagine that they're going to wire up the entire vehicle. These newer vehicles are going to be wired, not just for under the auspices of safety, but they're going to be wired for all kinds of, can you imagine, for daycares, transportation? Can you imagine these Uber cars? That's really going to be, and a lot of things happen in people's cars. A lot of confidential conversations occur in people's cars. Kids. I don't know if you want somebody looking at your kid. If your kid is unattended for 30 seconds in the car, does that mean they're going to call a DHS? You say, well, I was just standing right outside the vehicle. The kid wasn't actually unattended. I was standing at the door. I was on the outside of the car, but the door was open and I was in the view. The kid was in my sight. So I don't know what people are going to do, but certainly if you're getting the more technologies and more bells and whistles that you get in your vehicle, thinking you're being savvy and smart, is you're basically bringing them in. You're inviting them in to your vehicle. And that same thing with a smart house. As that same thing we're looking at. Melinda, let me read some comments. She says, I want my tax money back. The American people deserve refunds. This is not what we wrote it for. Luciano says, turn off the GPS, turn it back on after 5 minutes, turn it off, then turn it back on. And Luciano says, hashtag desperation. Melinda says, Melinda, they've been doing that since 2000, 2001. And Luciano says, how about crank calls? Melinda says, love how these electric cars just blow up and burn people to cinders, especially if they have been in certain situation. Who hates Putin more? Who hates Putin more than anyone? The answer is Satorio. Yeah. I'm at this point. I'm just, to me, these vehicles, I think the government is going to have there's going to be certain codes in these vehicles that are going to, your car, like I think even the newer homes are going to have to be wired with, if you get a loan, you're going to probably have to meet these SDG goals. These, to me, the surveillance developmental goals. They're calling them SDG, sustainable. They used to call them sustainability development goals. And then they got ESGs, the environmental developmental goals. But to me, it's like Big Brother is the goal. He is the goal. Okay? Surveillance is the goal. So, crash detection. I mean, can you imagine what that's going to do to people's premiums? I'm going to tell you, like some people, if you have any type of camera in your car already, sometimes that particular camera gets it wrong. If you slam a door, it might consider that as a crash. There is an ultra sensitivity or a hypersensitivity that they're basically saying that this technology is not prepared for right now. Okay. But this is my problem here, ladies and gentlemen. We all think about these things. Everybody says, "Oh, well, we're close to the midterms." And I've said this before: red and blue make purple, and I've seen it amongst corporations. But I said this immediately. When you mix the red and blue together, what do we have? We have a two-party system that is, to me, the rulership. That is the rulership. And when you combine the red and the blue, you get purple. And now that those two, and some people have made the argument before that those two parties are of the same ilk. We're the only thing, the contrast. So it's more like it's inversion. It's more like instead of them being the servants, it's been flipped. We are the servants now, and we are sandwiched between. And to me, that means we're going to get crushed. We're getting crushed. I don't care how many promises and how much theater they put out for you. I don't care how many illegals or whatever they drop off. I don't care how many they take to these places. It's all theater. It's all theater. It's not stopping any of it. It's just injecting more. It's just injecting more rhetoric into the, those people are being used. They will use your talents. They will use your tools. They will use your plights. They will use your pain. They will use